Ex-Monty Python member and all-round beloved comedian for his sharp eye on British culture, John Cleese has found himself in a spot of bother recently for stating that it's okay to recognise that some cultures are better than others. This is the latest example in a litany of comments that Cleese has made about the UK losing its way in our modern multicultural society. For this, he's been accused of being a far-right bigot. But when you listen to him, is he really that irrational and crazy?
I'm not sure what's going on in Britain. Or let me say this, I don't know what's going on in London, but it doesn't feel English. I had a Californian friend come over 2 months ago, walk down the King's Road and said to me, well, where are all the English people? And I mean, I love having different cultures around, but when the parent culture kind of dissipates, you're left thinking, well, what's going on?
Can you believe the shocking levels of anger and hate he's expressing? No, me neither. However, I'd go a little further, and I think most people would, in saying that there's nothing wrong innately with saying that Europe should be the home of the Europeans. I mean, even the Dalai Lama said that. Yet there's a massive irony here that many people have failed to note. While the liberal authoritarians enforce this view across the Western world that we must tolerate all cultures and view them as the same, known as cultural relativism, they don't realise that that view is the culturally supreme view that's enforced upon all the people at this time. This worldview of cultural relativism stems from a collapse of Western tradition, and in its place, our academic and cultural institutions have been completely poisoned, and now they brainwash the minds of the young, especially to be the most faithful adherents to their system. The breaking of Western tradition is so important because it allows a new power structure to come in, and the young people are the most unwise and likely to adhere to the power structure. This is exactly why George Orwell noted in 1984 that it was always the women, and above all the young ones, who were the most bigoted adherents of the party, the swallowers of slogans, the amateur spies, and nosers out of unorthodoxy. And this is why, for no particular reason at all, and on a random Saturday, the BBC Bite Size, that's the revision website for young people, decides to publish a piece on the LGBT icons that young people supposedly quote-unquote need to know about. None of this is about love and inclusion and tolerance and everything they want you to believe. It's actually about enforcing the mother ideology of the LGBTQ movement, which is liberalism. No matter the topic on the surface, whether it's black people, Islam or gay people, they use the same structure every time. Western culture is evil and needs to be overthrown by the new equalitarian system. This is why every media and cultural production these days has to quote-unquote challenge Western norms, such as the casting of Juliet in the latest stage play in London's West End. Now, it's not this actress's fault herself, but let's be honest, Juliet is supposed to be so spellbindingly beautiful that she can make Romeo throw away everything in his life. Secondly, she's supposed to be an Italian and, well...
I prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble.
Yet we all know this only happens one way around. If Othello, for instance, was made white, that would be erasing a cultural identity, etc. Yet the reality is that the producers really do all of this on purpose. They actually want people to say, why have you got an unattractive black woman playing Juliet? So they can yell that you're racist and evil and they are morally virtuous. And once the story gets in the media, it will mobilise interest amongst the woke, brainwashed young people, give the directors and producers social credibility, and receive 5-star reviews from The Guardian and the BBC, even if the production itself is absolutely terrible. This is because we now have a generation who are totally hoodwinked into believing the progressive ideology as if it's completely true. They think they're the ones who are clued up and educated, like this girl on the streets in Birmingham.
Can you be racist to white people?
No.
Why not?
Listen, educate yourself on racism. You cannot be racist to white people.
But how? Why?
If you look it up, you'll understand. Cracker.
That's racist?
No, it's not racist. There's a difference.
If it was the other way around, then I'm racist.
Yes, because who was enslaved?
Why are we throwing it back that far?
Who was enslaved?
Everyone has been enslaved historically, including millions of Europeans who were taken by the North Africans, but that doesn't suit her ideologically possessed narrative. Of course, unbeknownst to herself, I'm sure, what this girl means by get educated isn't learn the facts, it's get up to date with the liberal authoritarian propaganda of the age so you'll be accepted as a good person. Once you step out of the woke Western world, you see that everybody understands this. The Russians, the Chinese, the Middle Easterners, even the Hungarians are trying to hold their own despite having constant sneering such as this from a BBC journalist as to why he and his country don't accept the liberal authoritarian position.
When you look at Viktor Orban's words, he's compared immigration to a flu epidemic, he's talked of Muslim invaders, he's talked of Christian Hungary and a mixed population with no sense of identity, and he's called the people coming in potential terrorists. So this isn't actually about immigration, is it? It's about xenophobia.
No, I have to reject that, and I take it as an insult, what you have just said, because we Hungarians, we do have the right, and no one can take that away from us. We want to keep Hungary a Hungarian country, and we don't think that multiculturalism is by definition good. If you think so, if people in this country think so, we respect that, no problem, but please don't put pressure on us.
I think we can learn a lot from this man. He's calm, he's rational, he's making perfectly salient points. He's not screaming and shouting, which the BBC would use to make him out to be some raving lunatic. Yet most importantly, he doesn't fall for the fake moral grandstanding of, I think it's Emily Maitlis, her name. If you watch the whole interview, she's just yelling at him all the way through. Yet she has no moral authority, and that's what we need to remember. These are liberal elites. They have no moral authority or democratic mandate for their worldview, despite forcing it on the populace. Anyhow, these are just some of my views. Do let me know what you think down below, and do consider subscribing to the channel.